There's not a bit that isn't leaking on this, between the leaking O-ring that is so poorly made.
Hi guys, Scott here from Outlaw Garage. We have had some problems with our oil return tubes on our 930. She is just sat over there. We've had a couple of options to fix them, but what we've actually decided to do, we've teamed up with Roo Tech and Matt from Tec-9, and we're manufacturing oil return tubes here in Melbourne.
Hello guys, my name is Giovanni. I'm from Roo Technologies. We are a precision machine shop based in Thomastown, around north side of Melbourne. Come around and we'll show you what we do. So basically, we have been working with Scott to basically design an oil return tube for vintage Porsche engines. The problem that we were facing was basically, the first one was that there is nobody doing this kind of product in Victoria, so the availability, you would have to source it from overseas. The second one was that 90% of these kind of products on the market, they are basically designed in such a way that can be prone to leaking. They are basically a 4-part, so in order to avoid that, we decided to minimize the number of parts so that this is now just a 2-part design. They are CNC machined from a round bar of aircraft grade aluminium, and so basically that's the most accurate way to manufacture a mechanical component to ensure that, you know, it's not going to leak, it's not going to deform or warp in time. So it should be a better designed product compared to what Scott has on his car at the moment, and mainly what's on the market at the moment. So basically, the way it works is these tubes. It's a 2-part oil tube, so you don't have to remove your cylinder head to change it. The way the 2 tubes seal one to another is with these 2 O-rings. So the 2 O-rings, they will seal in, you know, the second part, and obviously once it's installed, there will be a circlip that will obviously stop the 2 parts coming out of the engine, which is, you know, a conventional and strong method of retention. We have decided to use the original Porsche O-rings. So basically, they seal to the cylinder head and the engine block utilizing the OEM O-rings. So that way, you know, the tolerancing and the life of the O-ring is as you would get from an OEM component, and you know, everything else is designed around those tolerancing and to work with those materials. Other than that, from a design point of view, we wanted to incorporate some design features that we're adding to what's available on the market at the moment. So basically, we could have designed this component basically as a straight part, you know, other than, you know, the features that we just discussed, you know, the O-rings, the circlips, and it would have been okay. However, we wanted to add more and, you know, add a little bit of design into it. So we decided to add some grooving to the 2-part of the tubes, and the reason for those is basically 2 of them. The first one is obviously functional. It provides the user or whoever installs or removes it from the car like a gripping feature to be able to safely handle these parts and provide it to, you know, allow you to grip them. And the second one is obviously these engines are air-cooled, so we wanted to incorporate like a fin design to even to a minimal degree to provide some additional cooling to the oil. There'll be oil flowing back to the engine block. The engine blocks, obviously, there's not going to be a lot of pressure, but we're still increasing the surface area, so some minimal airflow and oil cooling. Aim of it not only to provide a component that's a higher quality, provide a component that's designed and manufactured in Australia, because everything is done here. Like the design work is done from us internally, obviously with input and assistance from Scott and Matt. The material is sourced
mainly
locally.
for Matt, to be fair.
It's a group effort. You know,
I can provide a broken car, but Matt is really where the knowledge
well, let's
is
share
at.
the love. Come on, let's share the love. You know, the material is sourced locally. The manufacturing is done internally. We will cover that in a second. So not only to provide a part that is proudly made in Melbourne, not only Australia but in Melbourne, but also provide a product that is cost efficient in the long run to the end user. So yes, this aluminium part, unless you drop a tank on it, they would be fine. You might have to replace the O-rings and the circlip to give it a new life, which we will supply as a kit. So in the long run, it would be a more cost efficient product.
And I'm not sure on Pelican parts or wherever that you want to buy this stuff from, that I'm sure if you're buying this, you've got to actually buy the 4 all the time. You could buy 1 or you could buy the 4, but you can't buy a service kit.
No, nobody sells a service kit.
No, and that's really the intent here, that you're building a quality product that lasts, that is a serviceable component, and then therefore over time is a better component for your 911.
Absolutely. It's the same as when you change your oil. You know, you change an O-ring and you might change the oil plug and put fresh oil and off you go. It's the same here. You don't have to change the part and throw it, obviously, unless it's damaged, in which case there's probably more issues than just these. But
I gotta say, if you've damaged one of those by driving,
you have bigger issues than
you've got bigger
tubes.
issues than those tubes.
Exactly.
Absolutely, yeah.
By providing the customer the rebuild kit, they should last forever. Like within normal operating conditions, they should last forever. This is the part in the virtual world. So basically, how these tubes have been designed is in CAD, which stands for computer aided design. It's basically a virtual platform where we can design the parts that we want, assign features and dimensions, and actually spin it and see the interface with other parts before we actually make anything. Okay, so this is one of the tubes, one of the 2 halves of the tubes that you saw downstairs. The other good feature of using CAD is not only for the design process but also for the manufacturing process, because the CNC machines that we have downstairs, CNC basically stands for computer numeric control. So basically it is a manufacturing process that is controlled by a computer. And how do we program that computer? We can do it in here, which is the neat part. So basically, after we've designed the part, we can program the manufacturing process that we can do downstairs. So all the tooling, it's obviously in an internal library in the computer, and we can program operation by operation to actually start from a solid bar to get to the finished part. But we can also simulate it. So if we do something that is not correct, that will cause a damage to either the part or the tooling, we can simulate it and prevent that from happening. Alright guys, so now this is actually our manufacturing facility. So these specific parts, they're actually made in a turning center. So basically what a turning center, obviously for who doesn't know, it's basically you start from your bar is a round stock, and obviously the bar turns, and then you have a series of tools that, as we saw upstairs on the computer, they cut the material. So basically it's an automatic process. So we do the program upstairs, we install the tools are measured inside the machine so that we know where the tool tip is at any point in time, and then it automatically runs the program and change the tool until the part is finished. In very simplistic terms, all parts they would be exactly the same, simply because we take away the human element. Like, it's the computer doing again and again and again, and is a way for us to not only do the parts efficiently, but also to ensure that the quality of the part that we do is consistent with time.
So there we go, we've seen how these parts are made. We are now going to click our fingers and miraculously appear at Tec-9 with Matt. Well, as if by magic, we are here at Tec-9. Matt's in the workshop. We are about to fit some new oil return tubes. So oil return tubes today. There is one out up there. What we're finding is that they are leaking, particularly on this side. And then we can see oil build up here. And we'll go and show you the oil return tubes in a moment.
So they're not going back on, so they're getting a bit more of a pull. Oh, that came off.
Oh, that's all right. No,
that came off
that
all right.
aggressive. Come on.
That was all right. Oh, there we go. That wasn't too bad.
So we think we found the problem. Flat. Yeah. They are really flat O-rings.
Yeah. So the aftermarket O-rings have been put on it, and they are not for the job.
No, they're not. They've got no shape to them at all. I think just over here. Yeah, we've got. These are the. I guess the ones that we should be fitting. Let's see if we can get them in focus. Genuine item. And then these are the aftermarket ones, which have clearly gone a little bit flat. On the bench with a coffee, we've got the old oil return tubes here. I think we can see that. Let's see if we can get it in focus a little bit. What we can see here is that it's a steel tube, and then what they've done is they've just pushed these ends on. Now what they've not done is they've not sealed it around there when they pushed it on, and then through there, I think we can see, there we go, it's got a bit of a lip there, so it's actually been leaking not from the O-ring but through the seal there, and that's on all of them. As oil return tubes get, they are pretty oil return tubes. So as they're all one piece, they're not gonna have any leaking at all. They are the collapsible type, so they'll be a lot easier to put in. And because they've got all the washers actually from Porsche,
absolutely 100% reusable. Everything's replaceable, all the O-rings. The only two O-rings that don't come in your VRS kit are the two that the sleeves slide on, which he will be providing with every kit. Yeah. And as a kit, if you need to rebuild them.
So we are assembled, ready to go. Gloves on, ready to go.
Let's go and fit these little pretty puppies.
See how they go.
So we just put a bit of grease on them, not too much, just enough. Just want to get a nice tight fit in there, so without it grabbing.
Call us crazy and we're getting fascinated with oil return tubes, but look at that there.
It doesn't take much for us, does it?
But there we go, that's the new one of the new ones in. That's what an old one looks like. Look at us geeking out on oil return tubes.
So it's leaking from all over the place, that one.
Yes. There's not a bit that isn't leaking on this. Between the leaking O-ring that is so poorly made.
Yeah.
Like that O-ring was not made for this job. I don't think this whole tube was made for this job.
No. That is shockingly bad.
Yeah. You see, they were actually a full circular shape, and now they've gone into they compressed that badly, and I don't think these are that old either.
No.
Because they're still supple.
So these are normally a little bit of a pain to pull out, but one of them just kind of fell out. And they're just square and a right old mess.
Yeah.
That one literally fell out.
And even these little O-rings inside, you can see the different colour, and they're squared off just like the outside. So we've really got some really poor quality O-rings. That's no pressure at all. Yeah. Oh, hang on, we've got grease build up. That's creating more resistance than the O-ring.
So there we go, we're all in. We're actually just moving a 993. We're going to pressure wash underneath the car. But there we go. The prettiest oil return tubes on the planet. Fixed a couple of loose bolts and changed, or actually just cut the hose and tightened it up properly just up there. There we go. There she is. We've taken her for a bit of a run. They are still looking pretty all tidied up. So, We'll run her around for a few days and see how she goes. But I think we've now got Melbourne made, Melbourne installed, oil return tubes. Look at that. Well, there we go, new oil return tubes in the 930. Australian made, Melbourne made Porsche products here locally in town. So we feel very proud to be part of the testing team for that. And Matt and the guys at Tec-9 as well doing a great job here today. You might be able to see, we've got a little bag of food behind us. So we're gonna go home now and grab some lunch. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. Most importantly, check the link below. Products coming from Melbourne very soon for your Porsche 911.